Today's video has been sponsored by DoorDash. How's it going, my peeps? Welcome back to the channel and happy football season. I am still reeling over my Jets victory over the Patriots. I can't believe Aaron Rodgers is going to take us to the promised land this year. Of course, I'm rocking Jets legend Mark Sanchez, founder and CEO of the Butt Fumble, and also the quarterback of my football team the last time they played a playoff game 14 years ago. But let's not think about that right now, because we've got some chicken wings to make, one of the essentials for your football viewing Sundays. And Tasty has gifted us with 3 different versions of varying difficulties and durations. I'm excited for all of them, so let's get right into this one. As I mentioned, we've got 3 different recipes today, all requiring their own unique ingredients. And thankfully DoorDash is here to make sure we are stocked up for each and every one. 10 years ago now, DoorDash was founded with a very simple mission: to grow and empower local economies. And although we've all grown to love DoorDash from their ability to connect consumers with their favorite local restaurants, they've now become a bustling marketplace where you can get pretty much anything from your local neighborhood delivered right to your door, from food to flowers, groceries, and more. And over the last few months of really acquainting myself with all that DoorDash has to offer, they've become my full-on trusted assistant. It doesn't matter if I need a quick midweek top-up for a few last-minute ingredients I might have forgotten, or my full-on grocery shopping list for the week, where you could get all of your weekly essentials delivered right to your door through DoorDash. And I love how the app allows you to schedule, customize, or substitute items in your order while communicating directly with your shopper and receiving real-time updates. So allow DoorDash to be your all-in-one trusted assistant for your lifestyle needs when you need them by clicking that link in the top line of the description or scanning the QR code on screen now. And when you use my code DAVID50 at checkout, you will get 50% off up to $10 of your order of $15 or more at select retail, grocery, or convenience stores. I think we should go in order of time and difficulty, starting with their 10-minute cola wings. I grabbed some Coke, soy sauce, pre-cooked wings, and scallions. Also, this is just 4 ingredients, as you can tell. I guess 5 if you want to count a little shot of vegetable oil I'm going to use to reheat these wings. But in terms of time and difficulty and cost, this recipe is about as good as a chicken wing as you're gonna find. And the reason I know that is because I have made these more than once before. One time on camera for that 10-minute or less recipe episode. And even though this is a pretty early on style of BuzzFeed recipe, it actually works, and it's really good, just as advertised. You heat up the wings, you splash in the Coke and the soy, and allow them to reduce and get all sticky. You plate them up with your scallions, and that's about it. Will this taste test be a little bit gratuitous? Yeah, but let's see if they still hold up. Ow! I forgot I have a sore in my mouth, and that hurt like a bitch. These are really good. They gotta be one of the best, like, active work time to outcome ratios there are. Because they do genuinely take 10 minutes if you have everything on hand, and I would not guess that this is just cooked down soy and Coke. It tastes like a 10-ingredient sauce that was thickened up by, like, cornstarch or something. I do realize there's quite a few ingredients in both Coke and soy sauce, but who cares really? You're not gonna get a more easily attainable, seemingly high quality chicken wing sauce than that, so 7.5 out of 10. They still hold up all these years later. Next up, we've got their 1-hour buffalo wings, and to make those, I grabbed some chicken wings and apple cider vinegar, garlic and onion powder and buttermilk, some hot sauce, Worcestershire and mayo, honey, sour cream, baking powder and butter, cayenne pepper, salt and pepper, smoked paprika, and fresh dill. I feel like they really nailed the easy to medium to hard variation of all these recipes, because this one is a perfect middle ground. It's actually very close to how I would make wings for myself. Beginning with chopping them all up and trimming off those ends, and then tossing them in a dry rub with plenty of baking powder, the garlic and onion, salt and pepper, and smoked paprika. That baking powder is the real magic here, because once it activates with heat in the oven, it just gives you that light, crispy exterior that you only expect to get with a deep fried wing. But this method is just healthier, it's less mess, it's less intimidating, so it has become my go-to. After they get baked off in a 425-degree oven for about 35-ish minutes, I set them to the side and then whipped up the homemade ranch. And of course, as per the name, it's gonna get finished with a buffalo sauce and then tossed in that hopefully sweet and spicy, glossy goodness. I don't know how many years I've been making these videos now, but I'm still not completely sold on how to grade all these recipes and weigh them against each other, because this one is taking 6 times as much time. Does it have to be 6 times better? I don't know. In that case, will the next ones that are gonna take a whole day have to be 144 times better than the first ones? It just seems a little stupid to think that way, but I always have this internal struggle whenever I make Alvin's crazy 1,000-hour food, so I'll just try to keep being honest and letting you guys know if they're worth your time, but as for how they compare to each other, we're about to find out. Ow. I'm not gonna show you guys because it's kind of gross, but I hate canker sauce. These are freaking delicious. They are the perfect heat level. I love that he allows you to adjust the heat and sweet based on how much honey or cayenne you like to add. And just using that butter and hot sauce as your base. Again, these are shockingly crispy and juicy. Even after getting sauced up, you would not think these came out of an oven. Ugh. The pain is worth it. They're really good. And for the grand finale, we have a 1-day, a 24-hour confit sweet and spicy wing. I grabbed some sugar, olive oil and flour, chicken wings and rice vinegar, some soy sauce and kosher salt, cornstarch and honey, gochujang and sesame seeds, some water, fresh ginger, garlic, cilantro, scallions, and gochujang. So let's start with the positives with this one. I love a dry brine idea where you cut your chicken down to size, you whip up a dry brine mix, that being plenty of sugar and the salt and some gochugaru or Korean chili flakes. Those are gonna offer a really nice pop of color and flavor. And then once they're all evenly coated, you're gonna lay them out on a wire rack so they get fully dry in the fridge and leave them in there for as long as you got. It could be 2 hours, it could be 4. In my case, it's gonna be overnight. To be clear, I have no issues with an overnight dry brine. You see this very often, usually with larger cuts of meat, where it takes longer for all that good flavor to permeate and tenderize things, but it should function just as well here. I also love all the additions of the aromatics and flavors that are going in this, from the fresh ginger, garlic, and scallions, that really concentrated, spicy, and sticky sauce we're gonna make at the end. But when it comes to the negatives, I hate confiting things at this scale. It feels like such a waste of olive oil. And after fully submerging the meats, I essentially used my whole tin of $35 worth of olive oil, so this one could get a little pricey. And then, at last, for the third and final preparation of our chickens, you gotta whip up a little batter, dunk them down in there, and then deep fry them. I actually take back what I said during the last ones. These better be 200 times better than those first ones, because this is so extra. To confit something in the oven for 3 hours in a liter of oil is enough, but then to have to whip out some fryer oil too, this whole thing just screams extra and unnecessary. Almost as extra as Logan Paul calling doctors idiots on Twitter. How much of a moron one has to be, I'll never understand. But then finally, you just whip up your Asian-inspired sweet and spicy sauce. This is actually very close to Rie's teppanyaki sauce, so I am very excited, to say the least. Over the years, I've learned that all good sauces like this have to have sweet, spicy, salty. If they've got all those and that good, thick and sticky texture, it's probably gonna be delicious. But after garnishing with our scallion, cilantro, and sesame seeds, and 24 hours of cooking, and enough oil to have the United States military banging down my door, it's finally time to try these. So help me God, if these are not the most tender, crispy, juicy, flavorful wings I've ever had in my entire life. So the texture is really nice. Kinda expectedly when you confit something in fat for 3 hours. The bones are just falling apart, the meat is super tender, but unfortunately, that's probably where the good praises end. There's little to no crisp in this thing whatsoever. That sauce completely sogged it out. It feels so unnecessary to go through that whole dry and wet dredging process just to end up with this soggy mess. Also, good God, is it too salty. I forgot to mention this before, but My instinct was to rinse them off the following day after dry brining them because they were just coated in so much salt. And I get that most of the salt drips off as they exude a lot of moisture, but you have to assume at least some of it is gonna be left behind. And then when paired with this super concentrated soy sauce glaze, they're almost inedible. They're just so salty. And even if they weren't so salty, would I recommend you spend this amount of time on these? Absolutely not. Use that last baking soda and oven preparation and then make this sauce, or the buffalo one if you prefer that, but...
Pulled off the bone. Too salty.
You could say that again.
Oh, it's actually that salty, with this, it's so salty it becomes sour. No.
Why do you keep tasting these off the camera? You're like one of the Charlie Brown
I didn't know you were filming me.
Where they never show the face.
They did
That's
it in
you.
the first season of Fairly Odd Parents. They did it in...
This could give you a heart
What's the
attack.
one with the cat and the mouse? They look great. It's like
shiny.
It's like licking one of them salt lamps.
It is. He's not exaggerating. You're not wrong.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my A-team. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision. We could make